So let's start. Problem or solution? Question. And as I was telling you, I was asking something to my son Giovanni, and he answered me, I'm sorry, I can't, because you're gonna have a lots of problems, so it's not gonna. Ciao Allen! Ti amo in Italian means I love you, which has another significance in significant, from American language. But anyway, I'm very happy you are with us. Thank you for being there. So basically, I went to check on my online the solution, and guess what? I found it. So I did the operation, the graphic operation on that thumbnail by myself. Then I took that photo and I sent it to him. Say, hey Johnny, look what I did. This is 5 minutes later. So he answered me back, but if you wanted to have something like this, you had to tell me, because of course I know how to do that. And I said, no, Joan, you made a big mistake. This is a design management rule number 1. Are you the problem or the solution? In other words, and now we get to our topic, okay? I gave you just a little example of my son. But in this, relation, which was a little bit conflictual because it was something simple to do, honestly. When I asked him, I know that he knows how to do it, but he answered right away, no, because that's not the right quality, you're not gonna be happy. So what did he do? He made the classical mistake of people that instead of giving the solution, if you are asking for something, they are becoming the problem. And that's something that happens. And believe me, in design studios, it happens very often. And I'm talking about the relationship that you have between young designers, lead designers, design managers, design director, VP design of the brand or whatever. And the same thing happens also in engineering department, in marketing, in every department. When you have in the career steps, all the people, that are who is here, and then of course you have a manager or a lead designer that is asking, we're gonna do the job this way, that way. I want you to be concentrate on this or on that. And then you have always somebody that is fresh, it's new, I would say young, so a little bit naive, that to show that he knows what he's talking about and that task is complicated, instead of thinking I'm gonna find the right solution to answer to such a difficult task and prove that I am capable, is proving to the person that he's a good designer or a good professional because he's explaining why it's not possible. So basically it's the upside down, solution that is not working. So that's why I told my son Giovanni, I said, look, Giovanni, I asked you a simple thing. You told me, now lots of problems, believe me, I don't have the right tool and you will not be happy. So you decided everything instead of me. I did it for the way that I knew, of course, how it's gonna be, and the quality is pretty good for what I want to do. And now that you see it, you're telling me, but of course, if you wanted to do something like this, it was very simple. You just had to explain better. That's wrong. The wrong thing he made, and that's what I told him, is the rule number 1 in design management and design relations between colleagues and between hierarchy, is that you want to be the solution, not the problem. And I want you to be concentrated on this, because this happens also in school. It can happen in school, between you and your teacher, in any type of field, For example, Mr. Dimitris, he is going to university and he has a his final exam to make, okay, he's preparing it, and I am sure that with his teacher things are probably not always perfect and smooth, but he's never gonna tell his teacher, I'm not gonna do this because I don't believe in it. That is something that will never work, because what's gonna happen? The prof, the teacher, or in design studio, the manager, he will start looking at you saying, this guy brings problems. You know, I know that he can do that thing because I am older than him. I have more experience. I went through that when I was younger. Why is he putting all the obstacles, between me, my request, and his reaction, instead of, Alan, I know sometimes it's not simple. I agree with you. But as you know, we do here generic, type of explanations to make sure that you can think about that and you can remember, as a tool, this type of considerations that we make, so that you understand that you don't have to be impulsive. You don't have to think very fast, because if you answer faster than your classmates or faster than your colleagues, your design director is gonna think, oh, look at this guy, he's perfect, he's so fast. No, because when you go too fast, it means that you don't think too much, and you don't think the consequences that some words, even if you are honest, can have in your relationship with your leadership. And that's the point that is very important to remember. Okay? So, the question is, what is the ideal, the best relationship between, a designer and its manager? Okay? Or between a manager and his director? Remember that who is upper level always has something to ask that has to be developed, completed, something new, something that it's a little strange to achieve, but it's a challenge, so not easy. Of course not easy. But because he's up here and you are there working for him, you should support him or her in order to answer to that question with a solution, not with a problem. So the answer of saying, oh shit, it's so difficult what you're asking, why do you put me in such a situation? Because I've seen people saying that. And that when you do that, when you have that type of behavior, things becomes complicated. Why? Because you have a boss that is not happy. And don't forget that the boss, in every level, he is thinking daily about your performance, okay, that is work, so your creativity, your project work in progress, your relationship with your colleagues, the respect of the rules of the studio, but also, believe me, it's very important, the type of relationship that he is able to install with you, and vice versa. So, if the boss is open, and then one day he's asking you something, or he's always asking things that are a little bit complicated, this does not mean that you have to say, no, ask someone else, because that's the risk, that the boss will ask someone else, that he will say, okay, I'll check it, I'll come to you later in the day, or maybe in a couple of days, finds the solution, will show the solution, will explain that there are some risk with that solution, and then the boss will choose. Then, in that case, in that scenario, the boss will be very happy. He found somebody that gives him confidence. So somebody that he or she can trust. And the other guy that also very honestly said right away, no, it's not good, I don't think so. Ciao Rip Impix, è sempre un piacere il tuo punto di vista. Grazie mille, grazie. And welcome back. I'm glad you're here with everybody else. So, you you have to understand that if you do once, okay, it can become an accident, you know. Those things happen. And if you do twice, then the manager will have something in the ear and say, I want to check how he reacts on those things, because this guy I thought was more, willing, to play the game, to the challenge, to show that he can do things, that he can get to the impossible, so that I have an incredible team, and instead it's starting to pose problems. By the third time, it's clear that the boss will never ask you again those things, and he will sign in his head, he will remember when he has to do, the ciao Anish, I'm fine thanks, I hope you too, that at the end of the year, when we have to make the final, how can I say, the final evaluation of 1 year of working performance and human relationship, which is very important to give you a bonus, an augmentation of your salary, maybe a promotion, you're gonna become the super manager. All those things are so important, because a manager is somebody that is very flexible. And if a manager is very flexible and you would like to become a manager one day, you have to be flexible. You cannot be too strict, simply because you know a part of the truth. So, once again, the question is, do you want to be the problem or the solution? And of course, we all want to be the solution. I am the solution for my boss, my director. And sometimes, yes, my director asks me things that I don't even know why I have to do that. Because he has a project and then he needs something that he cannot do by himself because he is very busy. And then he writes just 3 lines and I have to interpret it in 3 lines. I cannot ask him, so I go search for the info until I ask other people to explain, and then I get the point and I solve the problem. And then, yes, I try to do it fast to show him that I am a good, good colleague in his team, somebody he can rely on, and there is no problem. And then eventually I can tell him that it was difficult, but I found a way to find a solution in this way or on the other way, explaining to him. And that's a way for me to show him how I behave, how I think, what was my strategy to solve that problem. And that's positive because a manager will see through your explanation already that you solved the problem, so he's happy. But then through that explanation, understand that you are not somebody, you are somebody with a character, somebody that thinks, somebody that understands which is the priority, which are the key people to talk to solve that thing that he did not have the time to explain. And therefore, it comes out that you have other qualities that maybe the boss didn't know, never paid attention to. So that's why I really wanted to talk to you about that, because as it is for a young designer level, this might become a problem. It's also at my level. And then I can tell you there's also another level. Director, VP design, and the VP design, is the most is the king, our Pope. So, are you gonna tell to your Pope, sorry, I cannot do that? When you are a director, super paid, for a simple request that, yes, it is difficult? Of course not. And once again, you, especially to directors and VP design, you don't want to be the problem, but 100% the solution. I'll tell you another little anecdote that is very nice. When I was a very young designer, really young, I was in Fiat. I was 27 years old, 1 year after school. And I had as a boss Chris Bangle. I mean, everybody knows Chris Bangle, Nice, crazy guy. So Chris was somebody that always had new ideas to push the design center in Fiat at that time to be more modern, more, how can I say, more contemporary, to have clay work, because they were not working on clay. And for us coming from art center, we had to work with clay. Ciao Sebastian, ciao, welcome back. So, what did he ask me? One day he asked me, Luciano, I would like to to work with clay. But you know, your old colleagues, they all work with, how do you call it in English? I don't have the English word. But anyway, they work with the other material, okay, the old one. And we need clay because the artistic design comes from working clay. I said, I agree 100%, because it's very strange, here we don't have clay. Could you please do it? So now, I said, of course, yeah, don't worry, I'm gonna take care, I will try to do something. Can you imagine me, 27-year-old, in a company that never had clay, to make sure that 4 months later we all had clay oven, clay in the oven, we had all our, quarter scale table with the grid like in school, and we all were making clay models in small scale, and every designer, especially the new ones, they were working on clay with the sections, the templates, just like we learned in school. So now you're gonna ask me, how the hell did you do? I start talking to modelers to understand if someone knew how to work with clay. And I did find 2 people that work clay because they came from artistic modeling school. And they did this like in the 40s, in the 50s. When I was not born yet, because they were old. And they said, Luciano, we know the companies where we can buy clay and the oven. And for the table, we're gonna make the table here in-house, because with our modeling department, we're gonna make them. Don't worry, I know how to do them. We're gonna make the table like we used in school, which are the same that you used in art center. And that's how it started. So I made a program, one slide. I showed this to Chris, and I said, Chris, are you okay for that? Because there is some money to spend. And he said, yes, no problem. Let's get the cost, and I will get the budget approved. And that's how we did it. So this is a little story that I remember with a lots of pleasure, of course, to show you that even impossible things, sometimes can be done by somebody that just arrived in the company, that didn't know anybody in the company yet. What happened after this? Because that's the most interesting part. 2 years later, I got promoted. My first promotion in Fiat as junior design manager. Now that's when I did the Fiat 600. Allen, Chris Bengo is funny, a human person. Yes, he is. Very nice. Yeah, in private he's better sometimes than on the work. He can be very harsh. So if you don't know him well, you may feel even offended. But believe me, I think he has the right attitude to get things done with the right quality and the right innovation level, So one day, after that promotion, I start getting Claudia. Ciao! Welcome back! So I started to get more requests by Chris. Hey Luciano, I got an idea. We should do this. And I said, okay. And I did it. 1 week later, Luciano! We were in open spaces at that time. So I go to his office, which had just 2, wood things that would cover just half of it. Said, Chris, what's wrong? You know that model there that I'm doing with the other colleague? We are missing something like that. Ciao, merda, ciao. Don't worry. We need to find a tool And we don't know, the modelers here don't know the tool. It's the same one we were using in school, and he shows me. I said, okay, I will see that how we can do to have that tool. We made the tool. It was a tool made in iron, you know. So we had to make it in another department where they used to work with iron. Then it was sort of a blade, you know, for clay modeling. And then one day I told Chris, I said, hey, but stop, you're asking me always. There are also other people here in the studio. I have projects. And he told me, do you know why I'm asking always to you? I said, no, why? Because I'm stupid of the studio. He said, no, because you get things done. Even if you don't know what we're talking about, but you get them done. And this is very important for a manager, and I thank you. So when he said that, I understood, and I said, wow, I didn't believe that I was that that good. And then it became something that it's part of me. I realized, I understood few things. And there it's when I understood that I have to be the solution and not the problem. Okay? So now it's about 30 minutes I'm talking. I would like to remember to all those that now are connected with us that this channel is open to membership. I know you have to pay something, but I'm sorry for that. But I think that it's very important that this channel, to become better and to serve you better, get to that step too. Okay, so this week I open up the membership. There is a video that explains this channel, what do we do here. And there is also another thing I would like to say. Those that will be members, if they want to buy my ebook, Sketching Cars, which cost is 15 euros or dollars, okay, will have the right to buy the ebook 50% discount. Okay? Then of course you can ask me if you're a member, specific request, even if I already do it. Okay? Then you have an advantage if on all the comments during my live streamings, all right? And if somebody, because I already have one member, and I thank him or she very much, but I didn't put the name, so I don't know who it is. Maybe it's looking, it's watching this live stream, and if it's the case, thank you very much, okay, for the trust. I hope that other people would like at least to try, all right? And that's the news for this week. What's the working hours in design studio? Which time morning starts from and which it ends? Alan, let's say that in a normal contractual agreement, designers can start from 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and they finish between 5 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon. In France, because you know I work for Renault, in France there is a different law, and therefore on Friday, only on Fridays, we can quit at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because we have 35, it's called 35 hours per week, not 40, like in Italy, for example. Okay? All right, so this is the timing. However, with the COVID, today things has changed a little bit. There are new agreements that are contractual, in which you can have some days that you stay home and you are connected and you work from home. Only some fields and some colleagues cannot do that, because their presence in the studio or in the model shop or in other departments, it's 100% required. Okay? I hope that I answered to your question. Any other question? Put your likes, put your 1, 2, 3. Grazie. Ciao.